Welcome back to Charging Ahead, an exciting e-mobility video series by the Enzi Ijayo Africa Initiative, showcasing the future of sustainable transport in Kenya. In this episode, we are joined by Jit Bhattacharya, CEO of BasiGo, a company revolutionizing public transportation through electric buses.
So my name is Jit Bhattacharya. I am the co-founder and CEO of BasiGo, headquartered here in Nairobi, Kenya. At BasiGo, our mission is to create the future of clean electric public transport here in Africa.
So how does the cost of ownership for an electric bus compare to a diesel bus in Kenya, and how do you communicate this to the operators?
Well, this is what is so remarkable. An electric bus here in East Africa, in Kenya and Rwanda, has a much lower total cost of ownership than the same size diesel bus. And it fundamentally has to do with the difference between the cost of electricity as compared to the cost of diesel fuel. So within 3 to 4 years, the electric bus is actually more competitive than a diesel bus. But you still have to overcome that problem of the high upfront costs. So even though the electric bus is more competitive, you have to help operators overcome that barrier of the high upfront cost in order to be able to access the technology. The best way that we found to convince operators is by showing, not telling. We put buses on the road, we get them into real-world operations with bus operators here in Nairobi. They see that the buses perform, they see that they're reliable, they see that passengers love it, and they see that those operators are actually earning a higher return on investment. That's the best thing that we can do to convince operators to make the switch.
How do Kenya's transport and energy policies align with BasiGo's goals, and where do you see gaps that need the urgent attention?
So the first thing is a business like BasiGo and what we are doing in the electrification of public transport has huge benefits to the countries of East Africa. Every single electric bus that we deploy, every single year, mitigates 50 tons of CO2 emissions. It avoids 20,000 liters of diesel consumption. And that's incredibly important because we are currently importing all of our diesel fuel and using US dollars in order to import it. So if we can avoid that, we're keeping that foreign exchange here in the country, we're improving the economy, and we're using domestically generated electricity instead. All of this stands to benefit the country, and that is why we've seen excellent support from governments across Africa, and especially here in Kenya. The government of Kenya has supported us by establishing a special electricity tariff in order to support EV charging. They have provided tax exemptions to help this industry grow through the early years, and we're starting to see the results now. You now see thousands of electric vehicles on the roads of Kenya, and you're going to see tens of thousands in the years to come.
What are some challenges BasiGo faces while sourcing materials or components for electric buses, and how do you address them?
Two of our largest barriers to scale are actually sourcing and assembling the electric bus technology, and then also deploying the charging network. You can imagine electric vehicle companies now in Africa, not only do we have to deliver vehicles, but we have to build the energy network to support it, the charging infrastructure to support it at the same time that we're deploying the vehicles. Here in Kenya, we actually import buses as complete knockdown kits. So they basically come disassembled. And then we're really excited. We have launched Kenya's first dedicated assembly line for electric buses at Kenya Vehicle Manufacturers in Thika. And so we're so excited about that, but it's one of the challenges for us to meet the demand. We have to scale the production capacity at Kenya Vehicle Manufacturers to deliver more buses every single month. Similarly, we also have to find the locations for charging infrastructure and then install that charging and make sure it's reliable and convenient for every single one of our bus operators. These are two of the most important barriers to scale as we look to grow to 1,000 buses in the next 3 years.
How is BasiGo utilizing data analytics or artificial intelligence to optimize the e-bus routes, energy efficiency, or fleet management?
So we put a lot of time and attention to really understanding how every single one of our bus operators are utilizing their current diesel buses and then the electric buses when they adopt the electric buses. Everything from where their passengers are, how their drivers are working, the speeds that the bus is traveling, in order to see what we can do to continuously improve the reliability, the efficiency, and ultimately the profit margins for those bus operators, because this is an important part of their daily income. So the best way to do that is by tracking every single one of our buses. We are tracking in real time how it's performing, where it is, and what its daily operations look like. That now feeds into our software technology in order to continuously improve the way these e-buses are performing out on the road.
BasiGo hosted Women in Transport, emphasizing the critical role of women in driving innovation and fostering inclusivity in the transport sector. Could you share some specific initiatives or strategies that BasiGo has implemented to empower women within the e-mobility space, and how these efforts are contributing to a more gender inclusive and sustainable future for transport in Africa?
So one of our core values at BasiGo is to make safe electric public transport accessible to all people in Africa, especially women, children, people with disabilities. So this is a core value of how we operate. And I think that's one reason why we work in buses. Buses are the most common form of transport here on the continent. It's the most affordable and it's the most accessible. And what we've been really proud of in the shift to electric buses, it's not just moving to an electric powertrain. It's the opportunity to improve the overall public transport experience, the comfort, the safety, the traceability, and ultimately even the cost in order to make it more accessible for many more people. So that's with regards to our products and the buses in operation. On top of that, we are seeing a revolution right now in the transportation industry, in this shift from combustion engines and fuel over to electric. And women are playing a vital role in so many roles across the companies that are accelerating this transition, and then in roles such as bus drivers, conductors, and ecosystem players that are helping to make this transition a reality. So we're really proud to prioritize being gender inclusive and prioritize getting women into this sector. We continue to grow in the years to come.
And how is BasiGo working with young people to inspire the next generation of engineers, technicians, and entrepreneurs in the e-mobility space?
One of the things that we are very excited to have launched this year is what we're calling a professional development program, especially in technical roles such as manufacturing and in engineering. So this is effectively a rotational program where young engineers coming out of university will be able to join BasiGo as a rotational intern, getting exposure to many different parts of that particular business area or engineering area. And what we are excited about is that we guarantee a certain number of those engineers, after completing their rotational program, the top performers will be offered full-time jobs within BasiGo. This is how we are creating employment through the business that we are building here.
And lastly, what message would you like to share with the stakeholders about the role they can play in accelerating Kenya's e-mobility transition?
The message that we would like to share is that Kenya, and more broadly East Africa, can be a global leader in the transition to affordable, low-carbon public transport. And given the urgency of the climate crisis, this is a transition that we need to see across the world. We can be a model for other countries for how this transition can work. It's happening right here, and we're really proud to be an example. And so we're asking for everybody's support in getting involved and helping us accelerate the transition.
Jit has walked us through how total cost of ownership, data analytics, and inclusive financing models are making electric buses viable for Kenya. He also emphasized the role of youth, women, and public-private partnerships in driving this shift. Coming up, how financing models like M-Copas are unlocking access for everyday users. Thank you for watching, and charge up for the next episode by subscribing to stay on the road with us.